Your underlay against.
Yep.
You're picking on Ben Doog.
Again.
three for 6 at the distance. You got to like that. He went mile and 16th. Last out, finished second to Dragoon Guard, who ran a bang-up race. Had a good setup. We were trying to come from off of it, and Dragoon Guard had a nice front-running score. I think that Ben Doog on the cutback should be effective. The form's been very good. No wins here at Churchill, but 2 seconds, and he's got Tyler Gaffalione up. Tyler looks like he had options, of course, as he always will. But in terms of money supplied for David Jacobson and others, I think Tyler can get him in a perfect spot and tracking position, maybe very similar to what we just saw that Vince did with Jack's Promises. I imagine that same sort of trip, although we're going a mile here.
I just don't think that this is a one-turn horse, whether it's, sprinting or if it's the one-turn mile. This horse is typically best around 1.1 miles to 1.25 miles. So I just kind of think maybe we're grasping at straws with Ben Doog at this point. He had a good win at Belmont at Aqueduct, an Allowance company that came in May. That was going 1.1 miles. So I just think that the one-turn mile is a little bit on the short side for him. Joe mentioned me liking Multitask. I do like this horse quite a bit. He's ran well at the one-turn mile previously here at Churchill Downs. Effective sprinting. He won at the 1.5 turn at Ellis Park previously. And then he was over the all-weather as well as the turf. 2 wins already on the year on the turf, one here, one at Ellis. But I think that there is a chance that this horse is just as good on all 3 surfaces, no matter what.
I think there's a very good chance that he relishes the going. AP Indy, Mayor Divided Attention, Candy Ride on top. Should love the slop. Axel Concepcion has been figuring out that rail. I think that it's interesting that I would imagine that Multitask and 3 Technique, that they kind of want that same rail trip to try to rally up on the inside late. So we'll see who gets to the good spot there between Corey and Axel.
$2.30 ROI for the Owen Hardy barn going from the turf to the dirt. Let's mention the 3 Wood Court here in this race. It's been a while since we've seen him. He was a horse that there for a minute was on the road to the Kentucky Derby.
Was he?
Yeah, he ran in the Rebel and the Jeff Ruby.
Well, I remember October 24th, we were at Keeneland together, and Wood Court wired that field at 31-1.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely wants to go forward. Not necessarily a need-the-lead horse, but I think he will be the pace setter. I think that we'll see the current favorite, Gun Party, try to set up shop right outside and pressure that one and try to get on by. But I think that he's got a shot if Gun Party doesn't break well, relaxes too much to try to wire this field. 2 wins on a wet track. You got to like that. Ransom the Moons should appreciate this sort of going.
Implementation was another horse that I thought would really appreciate the surface here, and I don't think that the one-turn mile is out of his scope.
It's another one that you could have thought that maybe Tyler would have been up on. I mean, Maker's been riding Edgar for sure, but Tyler knows this previous Safi junior runner pretty well. Wet tracks, fantastic. Will be stretching out. Might be part of the pace. I'm not sure where he wants to slot himself at this distance. He's definitely got some good runs in decent enough form. Last out, track mate. Had a good setup there, but I thought that Implementation, at his best, makes a ton of sense. And we know Maker knows how to get these $100,000 claims going forward in a good way.
He's a horse that ran 2 starts back at Kentucky Downs against a couple of horses that are going to be in the turf sprint later on Saturday, Bear River and Kadim. He just kind of got shuffled around there in that race, but still a decent enough effort. Let's talk about money supply.
Yeah.
You mentioned this one first up off the claim. Claim last out for $80,000. David Jacobson, the new conditioner.
New conditioner. Trying the turf a bunch, I think that his best surface is a wet main track. And that's what we've got here today. If the pace heats up, he'll be flying late. Christian Torres up for David Jacobson. 15-1 is a big price on money supply. I think I've seen it before where his form hasn't been quite there, but he's gotten to a wet track and he's shown us his best. I think there's a chance the pace could heat up in here, and I think money supply will be getting that trip that you sort of imagine that we've been seeing on this track here, that down the center of the track, flying late sort of trip. So money supply is a player in here. I would love to bet him at 15-1.
Another horse that is a potential player in this race that's a little bit of a price, the number 7 Full Screen for Brad Cox, comes off of a second and a freshening where he finished ahead of money supply at Saratoga.
Ron Moquette said a 300 might be the lowest Tomlinson number that he was talking about with him earlier. Here's a 268.
Ooh.
So the data doesn't say that we'll love the slop. We've been on it once. We ran third, a decent enough speed figure. Here's another one with a strong late kick. Come out for Brad Cox fresh. Was up at Saratoga. Relatively recent addition to the barn. Has a serious back class. If Full Screen wins at 8-1, we will all be kicking ourselves for not betting this one. I think we could have a good setup. Definitely the form that I've seen recently, as long as we carry that forward off that little bit of a break, he's a player. So 8-1 is an overlay.
And finally, the number 10 Caramel Chip. This is one I've kind of been waiting on that I think is going to really appreciate the one-turn mile.
One-turn mile, a little bit of a stretch out.
Yep.
Interesting to see. We have not been winning recently, but we've been holding form. I think that he still has a very good shot to face a group like this. Tough post on this outside for that sort of middle tracking type of trip that he's been getting going shorter. With the stretch out, does he want to get right behind Gun Party? Does it set up nicely for him where he can just follow Gun Party out of the gates and track that one on the outside trip and get that Jack's Promises trip? I think Caramel Chip, another one. This is a great betting race. It really is. It really is. 17-1 is a big price on a horse that's got serious back.
I think getting back on Lasix is something that's going to be pretty key for him here in this race. So he's certainly not impossible. This is definitely a horse I would be interested in playing underneath for the Carlos David barn. But they are just behind the starting gate here. Coming up, it is post time for our featured race of the afternoon, race number 8 to start the late pick 3. Good luck.
Less than a minute. And the horses have reached the starting gate post time. Waiting for implementation, Gun Party, and Caramel Chip. There. At the gate. And they're off. And Caramel Chip broke out swiftly. Woodcourt with some early speed, too. Implementations just in behind them. Ben Duke is up near that pace with Full Screen as they head up the chute and they race for the main track. Woodcourt coming well off the rail. Woodcourt well off the rail as they head for the main. Ben Duke is right alongside second. Caramel Chip just off them third. Gun Party far outside fourth. Implementation heads to the inside and is racing fifth. Full Screen sixth and 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Multitask in seventh. Money Supply tailed off into eighth down that chute, and 3 Technique is the trailer as they head toward the half-mile pole. And still well off the rail is Woodcourt, and farther out there's Ben Duke. Ben Duke is 5 or 6 wide past the half-mile pole. Implementations trying to take advantage of that and save some ground. Down inside racing third. Gun Party farther out with Caramel Chip. They're together, 4th and 5th round the turn. Farther back, Full Screen coming under pressure now. Multitask comes through underneath of that one. Then it's Money Supply. 3 Technique still trails. They come outside the quarter pole. Ben Duke comes away with the lead, but Implementation has been riding that rail and is coming through down inside, and Multitask pops off the rail. In behind them, there's a furlong to go. Implementation in a pitched battle with Ben Duke. Multitask is making steady progress. 3 Technique coming down the top of the track. Full Screen's in behind. They're heading for the wire. Multitask is up for the lead, and it will be Multitask who wins it in the end over Implementation and Ben Duke, and then Full Screen. Number 1, Multitask first. Number 4, Implementation second. Number 8, Bendug was third. And number 7, Fullscreen fourth. Photo for fifth, not official. Multitask is a 4-year-old's on a candy ride from Divided Attention by AP Indy, owned by Godolphin, trained by Owen Hardy, the winning jockey Axel Concepcion. Bred in Kentucky by Godolphin, won 37.57. Was the final time. Not official. 9th race, off the turf, scratch 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, and 16 for the kickoff to the late double.